Hello, pimps, simps, chimps, and everything else in between. This is the first take I have of this video, and this is probably going to be the last. I'm not really sure what I'm going to call this yet. Even if I do figure out a sort of title for this series, I'm probably not going to stick to it. But this is me. This is me. I'm Ash, or Michael Leese, or the one guy who does the Lovejoy covers. But yeah, this is the start of this kind of series, I guess, where I just kind of sit and kind of yap and just talk about myself. It's very, very indulgent in myself, but I just kind of want to talk about myself and my life and my music and stuff like that, you know? And I want to answer questions that anyone has of me. I want to ask myself questions, and I want to kind of, keep this up every week and kind of keep be transparent with you, just because I believe in that, and I want to be honest with you about everything. So there isn't really a lot that I have planned. This is unscripted, but there's a few things on my plate that I wanted to talk about. Holy shit, I'm a kind of micro internet celebrity. And I've got, I think, my concrete cover is my most performing video, which I'm actually surprised about. I didn't honestly believe that one would do too well, but it's my most well-performing video. It randomly blew up while I was down in Brisbane with my mates. And it's at like 100 and something thousand views now, with like 26k likes, 25k as of recording this, something like that. But yeah, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who liked it, reposted it, favorited it, sent it to people. Thank you. I'm very grateful for all of you. It's very scary having an eye on me, because I'm not used to that, because a month ago I didn't have this. I had like a few, like 30-ish followers on TikTok, and I posted every other week, but here I am posting multiple times a day. But yeah, I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. I'm enjoying doing what I'm doing right now. But yeah, it's very scary, to be honest, because I often think about, like, looking at the numbers, not looking at the numbers scared that I'm not going to do well. I don't really care, but looking at the numbers and, kind of imagining how many people that is, 25,000 people is a lot. And I often think about those people all in a room, just one single room. 25,000 people in one room because they like something that you did on the internet is fucking crazy. And I know it's not that much, there's people out there with millions and billions, but it's still a lot, I think that's like a stadium. That's probably more than a stadium. And it's been making me think about more like performing. If I was to ever perform, which I want to, I'd love to perform. I'd love to perform and do gigs live, I'd like to do shows, I'd like to be up there being the next Lovejoy, or Lovejoy, opening for Lovejoy, or being my own person, I want to be my own person. I don't want to just be a Lovejoy replacement, but it's been making me think about that a lot more. And honestly, I don't know how. I'm not a very anxious person when it comes to social interactions, unless it's my music, unless it's like me doing something in public for my music, I can't. I recorded a cover of It's All Futile, It's All Pointless by Wilbur Soot while I was in Brisbane. I still need to post it. I haven't edited it yet, but and I was out on the pier in South Bank, and it was scary. You could kind of tell that I wasn't okay. I was okay. I just wasn't entirely prepared. But yeah, I've been thinking a lot more about performing live and doing stuff for you guys, I don't know how to play live. I've performed live twice in my life. Like, aside from just performing songs live for just, like, 1 or 2 people, like, in one room. But I performed once in a crowd of 500 people. That was my first ever performance. That was my song Kind of Crazy. That went Actually not that bad, but it was also kind of shit, because you could tell I was nervous. Like, I was having a full-on panic attack beforehand, and I was also the tech crew at the time, so I kind of needed to lock the fuck in. But I couldn't breathe, like, it hurt, like, my chest was in so much pain, and I don't even know why. Like, random cut, my OBS crashed, and hopefully it doesn't crash again. I don't know why it crashed, but last thing I was talking about was my first experience playing live. And it went well, I just handled it very poorly. Like, I remember the entire day after, I just fucking hated myself. Just because I thought I had, like, blundered significantly, you know? But ultimately, looking back, it wasn't that bad, you know? For a first performance, it was actually pretty good. And then the second time I kind of performed live was as an audition, which I guess is also just, like, it was to 2 people, but it was for something that actually mattered, you know? It was for my audition to get into university. I got it, by the way, but yeah. Yeah. And I've been thinking a lot more about performing live, and not just performing the songs, but also just performing, being an actor, I guess, like an actor for a show, I guess, you know, like, you know, I gotta put on a show for you guys. I can't just play the songs. I gotta make it enjoyable. I gotta do cool lighting things. I gotta get you guys up and jumping, you know, I gotta dance around, you know, shit like that. And because, well, if I do perform, chances are it's just gonna be me with a backing track, you know, like, just me with a backing track and a guitar, you know, like, it's... So there isn't really a lot of, like, chemistry that I can build off of other people, unless, you know, hit me up if you'd like to perform one of my songs and you think you can, you know, drum or guitar or bass or anything, or piano or anything like that. Like, I'd be stoked to Stokes reference, to have that happen, you know? But yeah, just thinking about that, and, like, there's a good 2,000, nearly 3,000 of you following me. And that's a lot of people who are most likely going to see my content every time that I post. And a good chunk of you enjoy it, you know, interact with it. I love it when you guys interact, like, comment, posting my stuff, reposting my story, like, reposting my stuff to your stories, making stuff with my music. I'd love. If anyone did that, that'd be amazing. Because it means that it means something to you, you know? Ultimately, my main goal for music, which I think is a question that someone asked, but I'll get to it later, but my main goal is to blow up and act like I don't know nobody. No, my main goal is to hopefully make someone feel heard in the same way that I wanted to feel heard when I wrote that song, you know? I want someone to you know, vibe along with it. If they like the music, that's cool, but ultimately I want someone to kind of, like, look at the song, look at what it means, and have it mean something to them, and have it fill in a gap that they wanted, you know, have them feel heard, make them feel like they're not alone. That's ultimately what I want. But if you like the music, that's cool. If you're here for the Lovejoy covers, that's a little bit less cool, but that's also still cool. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to talk about. I think I've kind of exhausted that little bit about fame. I might touch on it a little bit later, but for now, I should probably get into the little questions that you guys have asked for me. One of my mutuals, at I don't know who anymore, asks, what's your social security number? 75. Jester XD, Lovejoy's version, asks, what's your IP address? Also 75. Sky asks, I know this isn't really a question, but why have I seen you on my For You page 5 times today? Because I'm just a cool little person, you know? I'm just cool like that, and the algorithm's trying to get you to follow me in Presave Atrophy. Leafy N, I hope I pronounced that right, asked, how did Michael Elise become your stage name? Ash isn't my real name. It's a name I go by now, but Michael was my dead name, and I guess when I came out, I just chose Ash, and I can't really change it now. And plus, I feel like it just, you know, it's kind of symbolic to me in a way, having Michael as you know, as my music, and then having Ash is just me, you know. There's something symbolic about looking at like my most recent songs and seeing, oh yeah, performed by Michael Elise, written by Ash Ellis. I think there's something symbolic in that. Keru, Finwolf Hard's version, I really hope I pronounced that right. If I didn't pronounce that right, please let me know. Asks, would you ever want to do or want to do a music collaboration? Keeping this vague so you can answer however you see fit. I'm gonna answer this in a few different ways, so lucky you. First of all, yes, if someone who I thought was cool and like was a decent, like kind of similar style to me, or like had similar influences and had a decent thing, I'd happily, like, if they reached out to me, then I'd happily, like, feature a verse, feature a few bars on there, you know, or like help out with the instrumental, or maybe produce it even. But if like music collaboration, I assume you probably, like, one question you'd probably ask is who'd be my dream collaboration. I don't know. I haven't thought about that yet. I haven't honestly wanted to think about that, to be honest. Cause, like, you know, you'd think, like, I'd want to do one with Lovejoy, but in all honesty, not really. Like, they have their own stuff, I've got my own stuff. I don't really, I guess part of me kind of looks down on myself and thinks I'm not enough, and doesn't want to do that because of that feeling of not being enough, but also just because, like, I want my own music to be my music, you know. I don't want to be known, you know, I don't want to be known as the guy who featured on a Lovejoy song, even though that would be fucking cool. But yeah, music collaboration, I'd love to. I'd love to, though. Like, if I had an opportunity to, I would. If I had an opportunity that I thought was good, I'd absolutely would, you know? Or like having backing vocals on one of my songs, you know. I've always fucking wanted that. I've always, like, deadass wanted someone, you know, like, to sing on with me with one of my songs, you know. Like, obviously it'd have to fit for the perfect song, but, like, you know, that would be amazing, you know. That's all there is on that question. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'll put it up on screen. This person asks, if I get my friend to Presave Atrophy, will you be my friend? Absolutely. If you can, send me a message saying that they got proof of them pre-saving Atrophy, absolutely. If you didn't know, I basically follow anyone back who, like, posts my shit to their stories, or like posts my song. If you make something cool with my song, you're automatically in my, like, fuck yeah, you're cool books. But like, if, like, you're posting my stuff to your stories, I'm most likely gonna follow you, you know, and be friends. Usami, I'm just gonna say Usami, asks, when did you start making music and how did I get that passion? I started writing music in 2021. There was a song that I put out in 2020. I didn't release it, per se. I had a song. It was a comedy song, like Wilbur. I did Wilbur kind of songs. It was called You Would Know That. It was shit, horrible, it's fucking horrendous. I still know the chord progression to it. But that was the first song I ever wrote, and I was like, I want to keep doing music. And then the next song after that was a song that was on my Spotify, but I did take it down. It was another comedy song called Ahigao Hoodie, that I kind of wrote in the void of waiting for Soft Boy by Wilbur to come out. So I kind of just released that, and it was shit as well. As with most of my early music before 2024, it was shit. But yeah, how did I get that passion? This pops up a little bit in the questions that you guys have asked. Wait, no, shit. There was one thing I wanted to touch up upon. I wanted to talk about this at some point. I don't know why, but the first song I ever fully learnt on guitar was Your New Boyfriend. But he's in your bed and I'm in a muzzle. How did I get that passion? Mainly just, I'll save the inspiration bit for another question, because I know there's another question, but at least I think there is. If not, then I'll do a little separate cut explaining it. But how did I get that passion to do music? I think when I made my first ever song, You Would Know That, I was like, holy shit, this, from going from, you know, nothing to something, and that process is just really cool, you know, and being able to look back at myself and look at how much I improved and like constantly one-up myself. I enjoy doing that, you know. I as you can probably tell with my music and how I talk about my music, I constantly need to one up myself. Like, I was so scared that like when I put out my first album, I'll Smoke If It Kills Me Quicker, that I wasn't going to be able to do anything better than that. That was going to be the height, and I couldn't be better. But then we had Storm and Golden Blood and the Amazon Standing Lamp cover and Atrophy and Perfume and all the other songs that I'm writing currently, and they easily top it, you know. I still love those songs with my heart. They mean so much to me, but I constantly need to one-up myself. That's that question. Platonica asks, what band or artist inspired you to start music, and how did you discover Wilbur/Soot / Lovejoy in general? Also, very specific, what's your favorite color? First, what band or artist inspired you to start doing music? Lovejoy. Mainly Wilbur/Soot, but Lovejoy. When Lovejoy started, when I heard that first snippet of One Day, on Wilbur/Soot's stream, I was like, holy shit, I want to make shit like this. And then, yeah. How did I discover Wilbur? How did I discover Wilbur/Lovejoy in general? I discovered Wilbur when he put out Your New Boyfriend. So back in 2020, I think. And immediately I just kind of became really obsessed, and I kind of just made my entire personality him for a little bit. As you could probably tell now, there's a lot of Wilbur in there, because I just watched him for so long until the incident. Yeah, and then Lovejoy, I came across them through Wilbur/Soot as well. And then I remember for the entire month of May, I was constantly checking YouTube, because I didn't have Spotify at the time. I was constantly checking YouTube. Is that song out yet? Is One Day out yet? Because I needed it in my veins. And I came home from school one afternoon on like a Monday, and then it came out. I'm like, holy shit, this is amazing. I remember my first takes on each of the song. One Day was amazing. One Day was brilliant. Taunt was okay. Taunt was still really good. Like, I loved all the songs, but Taunt was good. Sex Sells. I didn't like Sex Sells at first. I love it to bits now, but like I don't think I liked it when it first came out. I don't know why though. And then Cause for Concern. I think if I had to rank it, it would have been 1, One Day, 2, Taunt, 3, Cause for Concern, and 4, Sex Sells. I still thought they were really good songs. I didn't really like Sex Sells for some reason, but I loved it to bits after like a few weeks. And what's my favorite color? To be broad, pink or yellow. To be very specific, this one shade of pink. If you Google it, it's specifically called Golden Blood, which is why my song Golden Blood is titled that, because I wrote the instrumental to that, and I was like, this sounds like that color. And that's why all the merch for it, like all of like the hands and stuff, it doesn't use gold. It uses that pink, because that is just an acknowledgement of why it was titled that. And I just wrote the lyrics around it. So yeah, specifically that shade of pink. Stanley asks, have you seen South Park? If not, would you ever watch it? I have not. I've seen clips of South Park online, obviously.
Children with red hair, light skin, and freckles. We've all seen them on the playground, at the store, walking on the streets. They creep us out and make us feel sick to our stomachs. I'm talking, of course, about ginger kids. Oh, sick. Gross.
I'm not sure if it's something that I'd watch. There are bits of it that are funny to me. Like, it's enjoyable to me. But I don't know if it's, I don't know. I have a hard time sitting down and just watching a show, you know? If I ever watch something, it has to be kind of just short, like a one-off kind of thing that I don't need to watch an entire thing of beforehand. And I guess South Park is kind of like that, but it kind of also isn't. Like Family Guy, you know? Like, there's a bit of background knowledge that you kind of want, you know? But I feel like, you know, South Park, I'd like to watch it. If I was able to sit down and watch it, I'd like to, you know? Also, I just don't really know what it's on. But yeah, I've not seen South Park. Alana asks, why did I start music? As I said, inspiration from people, and because I want to make, because at first it was because it sounded cool and it was something that I enjoyed doing. And mainly that's what it is now, but also it's half because it's a bit of it's because it's a creative outlet for me, but also because it's I want it to make other people feel heard. As I said, I want it to resonate with someone, you know. I hope that it would, you know, because when I wrote a lot of those songs, specifically I'll Smoke If It Kills Me Quicker, I wrote those songs because I didn't have a song that sounded like that, and I always wanted a song that sounded like that talked about those feelings that I was feeling at that time. And so I wrote those songs because I wanted to hear them, and I hope that it hits with someone, that they're not alone. Specifically with my song Hyperpicky Eating Disorder, what it's about, the thing that it's about for me specifically, when I grew up with it and as struggling through it through most of my life, I always thought that I was the only person in the world that experienced that. And it was only until kind of recently, like a few years ago, throughout the entire 14 years that I've been dealing with that, it's only been until I was about 16 or 17 that I realized, holy shit, other people deal with this too. So yeah, I want that to hit with someone, and I want someone to not feel alone. But yeah, so I just scrolled past the photo of Grunkster. Grunkster posted the shut your bitch ass up, I'm waiting for Atrophy to release. I sent that to my friends and they loved it, and they kept spamming me with it every time I sent them a message today. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but this person asked, what's your favorite type of... My favorite type of is honestly the more kind of it's one of my favorites, but it isn't like... I have a very broad taste of, but it isn't one of, like, it's very hard to word, because it's such a grand thing, but I think my favorite type of is, and I hope that hits with you, if don't kill me if I don't like, or your favorite type of, but yeah, I think honestly isn't that bad, but I have been known to indulge in a little bit of sometimes, but isn't that bad, you know? Chocolate with sprinkles. God, this was a wild question. The same person as earlier asked top or bottom. I don't know if I'm allowed to get specific with that. I'm just gonna go with... I hope that answers your question without it being too personal for me, because I don't want to get into my personal life with like that, because that's a bit kind of strange. Like, not that the question weirded me out, it's just I don't feel like you guys want to know that specifically. So I'm just gonna go with right smack bang in the middle, you know, in the fence. I'm sitting on the fence and I'm getting splinters up my ass. Izzy asks, have you ever watched Epic the Musical? If so, you should do some covers of them. If not, you should totally give the Epic the Musical a shot. I haven't. I've seen like 1 or 2 clips of it online. I think of like the one, I think it's like Poseidon, like stabbing the trident into the guy. I think, correct me if I'm wrong. But I've seen a few clips of that, and I'm like, holy shit, this is cool. I want to watch this. I know it's on YouTube. I just haven't gotten around to it. It's been on my to-do list though. If I like their songs, and if it's something that I can play, probably definitely. But if it's like something just like I'm singing, maybe I might do a cover of an Epic the Musical song. Same goes with like Hamilton or any other kind of musical, or just any song really. But yeah, I've always wanted to. Grunkster asks, here's a useless question. Did you dye your hair orange? Are you serious? Okay. I have a question for you before I answer that. Do I look like I've dyed my hair? Do I look like I've dyed my hair orange? Fucking forehead, Jesus Christ. No. No, I'm born this way, and that's the only way it should be, because if you're a fake ginger, you're not it, you know, Like, if you dye your hair orange, why would you subject yourself to that? Why would you want to be ginger? Just, if you dye your hair orange, just pick a mental illness already, you know? Like, that sounds really bad. I mean that in a sarcastic way. Please take that sarcastically. Thank you for the question, Crookster. Watch Me Suffer asks, what's your favorite type of ice cream? This determines if I like you or not. Lighthearted. Totally not threatened at all by that last bit. My favorite type of ice cream, I've got to be basic, and I just got to say vanilla, because I'm just a normal kind of person. Like, vanilla and chocolate are my top two. Anything else? I'd like to be a fan of mint, except every time I eat mint ice cream, there is a little voice, there's a little gremlin up here telling me that there is a little gremlin up here telling me that it tastes like toothpaste. There's a little gremlin saying that, oh look, you're eating mint ice cream. It looks like you're eating toothpaste. And I hate it. It just ruins the experience for me. If there wasn't that little demon, then absolutely, I'd love mint chocolate. I feel like it would probably be my top one, especially if it was paired with chocolate. I keep getting the words mint chocolate and ice cream mixed up. I'll edit that. I won't edit that. I'm just gonna put a little disclaimer. But yeah, vanilla chocolate, maybe mint. Anything else? I honestly really haven't had many flavors of ice cream. So those, just because I haven't had a lot, those are my favorites. I'd imagine I'd also be a good cookies and cream fan. I just haven't had it in a while, so I'm not sure. Thank you for the question though. Shara asks, do you need glasses to look closely or far away, and how bad is it? Yes, these ones aren't prescription, these are vanity, but I do have a prescription. I don't know where they are, but they're somewhere. It's for reading glasses, far away. I don't know why I took a bit to figure that out. It's far away. And what was the rest of it? How bad is it? Bad. It's gotten better, but it used to be bad. Like, it was really random that, like, I think me and my mother were in a GP, and then we were looking at the walls and like the things on the walls. I'm like, why do they write stuff in those colors? I cannot read that at all. And then she's like, what do you mean? And I'm like that weird combination of blue and black, or whatever exactly it was. I was like, I can't read that. And why do they make the text so small if you can't read it from that far away? And then she's like, are you blind? I'm like, I don't know, am I? Keep in mind, this is when I was 16. So for a while, I thought that this was just normal, and I hadn't told my parents about it at all. But yeah, it's bad. Like, if I wasn't, if I didn't have prescriptions on, I probably couldn't, like, I have TikTok up on my phone. I couldn't read it from here to my monitor, so probably a good 70-ish centimeters. It's bad. Probably not that bad, but it still sucks. And yeah, that is all of your questions. Ask me more. I like answering questions. I don't know why. I'm a very big fan of being asked something and giving a good answer and giving a complete honest answer with it. So yeah, ask me more questions, whether it's through TikTok, whether it's through this comment section. I'd love to answer anything. Ask as many as you want. It can be about anything at all. Yeah. I have a few questions for myself that I will answer on the next one. So I'm going to ask these questions, and then I'm going to have, whenever I do the next video, so probably in a week, I'm going to have myself from then answer them. So, I ask, first question, how many pre-saves are you at for Atrophy? Second question, was this number higher or lower than you expected? Third question, is the following you have now any more scary or less scary? Like, has it settled with you anymore, or has it become a lot more unsettling because it's grown or it's, shrunk or anything? Fourth question, thoughts on cover songs for Spotify? Asking again because this kind of stuff changes a lot, because I know that my opinions on doing cover songs for Spotify have changed a lot in the past week. And then, what kind of music have I written recently? Because I'm curious to see how my writing style improves and changes, because I've been writing kind of different stuff recently. So I'm curious to see how it improves and changes, especially with the instrumentals, because I know I've been writing some different instrumentals. So I'd like to see, and maybe if I'm able to show what I've been working on, what's coming after Atrophy and Perfume. But for now, that's going to be all for me. I've yapped a lot, but I hope you enjoyed it. But yeah, I hope you all have an amazing day. And thank you for sticking by if you stuck all the way to the end. I'm probably going to section this up so you don't have to fucking like, he's talking about this for so long. But yeah, but thank you all for stopping by, and I'll see you all again soon.